Welcome to CBC Windsor News at 6. I'm Meg Roberts. Thanks so much for spending part of your Friday evening with us tonight. Well, that storm last night felt across the county. Municipalities from Essex to Windsor saw power outages, soggy basements, and downed trees. We have all the storm updates coming up. Plus, the Bridge Authority is backtracking on plans to completely close Sandwich Street for construction. That's after residents and politicians in the West End raised concerns earlier this week. And tomorrow is National Dog Day. In honor of all the good boys and girls out there, we introduce you to a few special pups. Slammed once again by a severe weather alert, a violent storm ripping across Windsor, Essex, building on the damage from the earlier downpour this week. CBC's Chris Ensing now with a look at the damage in Windsor.
A symphony on the streets as Windsor once again cleans up from a destructive storm. Trees crashing down on houses, toppled by wind gusts hitting speeds beyond 100 kilometers an hour.
I heard a crash. I came out. The tree was down. The car's obviously totaled.
A tree that took seconds to snap, now causing long-term headaches.
I got a lot of damage here. To replace my car with the higher interest rates.
A few streets down, more destruction.
We were laying in bed. We felt the whole house shook. And all of my 4 kids and my husband and I came running down the stairs, and sure enough, there were tree branches in front of our front porch.
No one injured here, but a handful of people did seek emergency care in the city. The destructive damage continuing further south.
So a lot of trees fell and big branches fell. A big tree fell on the truck back here in the garage, put a hole through the garage.
This scene, one of 400 emergency calls the city is responding to. Nearly 200 urgent calls also on that growing list. The city's forester saying there's a lot of work to be done.
So it's pretty busy. It happened quickly and there's a lot of devastating effect of that.
Not just trees and branches, utility lines also litter city streets. Enwin saying that outages peaked at 20,000 customers overnight. In Windsor, nearly all online by the morning.
Still have some people out of power now, but we're continuing to work. We'll be working, through the afternoon and evening tonight again.
This was, believe it or not, a trailer.
Officials on the ground today investigating a possible downburst or tornado event. This trailer sits in 3 pieces in Bell River, tumbling onto the neighbor's yard.
It was completely destroyed, and we were just about to renovate it.
Back in Windsor, concerns circle around what needs to be done about the tree canopy, and trees neighbors say should be cut down by the city before the next storm.
But this tree was just too dangerous, especially when it was windy. They were told.
Hopefully get rid of that tree, because it happens every single time that there's a storm.
It may be true that from your lay highs, you can see that, okay, this tree may need some tending, and a professional might get there, which are people who are certified arborists, and they may evaluate the tree as a tree that is healthy and that is safe for the public. And it does not mean that nothing will happen to that tree if there is a severe weather event.
Part of the problem, healthy trees being ripped from the ground by more powerful storms.
Climate is changing very fast, and weather events are occurring in frequencies that are unexpected. Also to the depth and range and scope that are unimaginable.
He says halfway through the year, maintenance calls to service trees hit yearly numbers. That was before this storm, one that officials say could take more than a week to clean up. Chris Ensing, CBC News, Windsor.
Well, to the county now, we saw places like Harrow get hit with several inches of rain 2 nights ago. And again last night, another storm rolling in to cause some more trouble. Lots of belongings out at the end of the driveway today as people clean up from not 1 but 2 storms back-to-back nights in Harrow. Now, a day and a half ago, this road was completely underwater. Today, driving around, it's somewhat challenging to tell what trees have recently fallen down as a downburst hit the area about a month ago, bringing with it extensive damage. Now, there's still lots of water in the county. Ditches are still overflowing, and some major arteries like a section of Walker Road still impassable. Well, there's good news tonight. Kingsville has lifted its boil water advisory. This as people continue to deal with the aftermath of the storm. One 85-year-old man in Colchester has lost thousands of dollars in possessions. As the CBC's Dale Molnar explains, there may be help coming for those who are uninsured.
I have carvings that go back 40 years. I talk about it.
Richard Prenny lives on County Road 50. When the storm hit Wednesday night, the creek next to his house overflowed and sent water into his basement. Prenny says there was no more significant damage due to last night's rain, but the earlier storm destroyed furniture, a freezer, and a number of his wood carvings. This has happened so many times, his insurance company will no longer cover overland flood damage.
I'll clean up what I can and go from there. You know, the thing I guess pissed off is because the township denies any responsibility, because all this water comes from the fields behind me. They service the fields, but when it comes to coming and servicing my end, they don't want to do it, right? I'll probably fix most of it myself and with my family.
But Essex Mayor Sherry Bondi says this is the third major storm that has hit the town since she has been mayor, and some town buildings were also damaged this time, so she says they too need help.
So this is starting to cost municipalities hundreds of thousands of dollars each year. So we are going to be, making that list, comprising it and forwarding it to the provincial government and asking for help.
Prenny's pool was empty before the flood, but there was so much water it now has 8 feet of water in it. Family members were out Thursday helping with the cleanup.
He's going to have to hire a whole bunch of people just to fix his basement, and we don't even know what kind of damage that's going to cost, because we're dealing with this right now, but we don't know what we're going to be dealing with next week.
Overwhelming. Sad. It's lost a lot of stuff again.
Generally, insurance companies don't cover overland flooding, but the Insurance Bureau of Canada is working out a plan with the federal government to have a national flood insurance program in place by April 1st of 2025. Homeowners would buy home insurance as usual, but pay a premium for the overland flood insurance that would be capped by the federal government to make it affordable, even in high-risk areas like Prenny's.
So the idea is that those that are all at high risk will be part of basically a pool. That risk will be pooled, and it will be backstopped by the federal government. So there will be some sort of subsidization to make sure that the insurance is affordable.
I am still cleaning up from the last mess 2 years ago.
For now, the family is raising money online to offset the losses. Dale Molnar, CBC News, Colchester.
Well, we're wishing Richard a very speedy cleanup. And an update to a story we brought you earlier this week. The Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority has backtracked on plans to completely close a section of Sandwich Street for bridge work. This part of Sandwich Street was set to be entirely closed for 8 weeks starting next month, with traffic being rerouted to Prince Road. But today, the Gordie Howe Bridge Authority changed course. That's after politicians and residents held a press conference earlier this week to voice their concerns. The Bridge Authority will now keep one lane of traffic open on Sandwich Street, which will extend the construction period by 6 weeks. It's not clear if that one lane will alternate two-way traffic or just one way. Politicians in the area say the reversal is a huge win. Auto workers in the United States have voted overwhelmingly in favor of strike action if they can't reach a deal with the Big Three in Detroit.
A lot's got to happen in 20 days, and we can get there. Just so everyone knows, it is possible for us to get where we need to be, but these companies got to buckle down and get serious about your demands and about you getting your share of equity.
The UAW president outlining the demands from workers. 97% of the membership voted in support of a strike. Now, that doesn't mean it will happen. The contract expires in September. Stellantis employees on this side of the border will vote Sunday. Well, Ontario's education minister says a tentative deal has been reached between high school teachers and the province. The union representing public school teachers say members will vote on the deal next month. Education Minister Stephen Lecce says he'll extend the same offer to elementary school teachers. Both unions had scheduled strike votes for September. However, the contracts do not expire until late October. The dog days of summer are almost over, but there's never a time limit to celebrate the pups in our life. Tomorrow marks National Dog Day. It's a chance for dog owners to recognize our furry best friends while also encouraging adoption. CBC's Windsor's Jacob Barker spoke to dog owners about what the pooches mean to them and the ways they make lives just a little bit better.
Nothing for breakfast. Okay. I will take a pup cup.
Pup cup, you got it.
I got something for you, bud.
Oh my gosh.
go. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Have a great day. Okay. This is Butter. She is a teacup Chihuahua, purebred. We got her from Ronson, Ontario, so she is Canadian puppers, and she loves Starbucks. We have always had dogs, so not having a dog in my life was just not really an option. She's a part of the family. She gets Christmas just the same. We do a stocking for her. She gets a bunch of gifts. She comes to the family dinners. My mom always does everything for the grandkids, and she's included as a little fur baby grandchild.
What do you think it is about dogs that got you, or just get people in general?
I think it's just the way that they are. They're accepting. You always have somebody to hang out with that wants to do what you want to do. They're just very kind, gentle. They love you for who you are, and they'll never sass you back for the most part. Just really loving little furball creatures.
Hello, Paddington. Oh.
Do something cute. So yes, that's Paddington. So yeah, I teach an introductory course called Animals and Humans in Society, but I also teach a third-year course called The Evolution of the Dog-Human Relationship. Dogs are ubiquitous in our society. They're everywhere. They are companions. They are known to be our companions. I don't have children. Interestingly, a lot of my colleagues in this field don't have children. I've always found that really interesting. But I don't get much greater joy from things as I do from my dog.
Does Baxter have a title here as well?
He is Dr. Baxter, pet therapist.
Okay. Tell me about that title.
So Baxter is a rescue to me a year and a half ago, and when we got him, I worked here, and we were looking to have some kind of, they had pet therapy, but COVID kind of got in the way of that. But we decided that he had such a great temperament that we would train him. So he got certified. He started visiting, and everybody just was over the moon, staff, patients, families. And now, when I come in, they look down at my feet or for the buggy, where's Baxter? It's not like, good morning, Maria, it's where's Baxter? In this situation, we basically visit families and patients. A lot of our patients had dogs at home and hadn't been around their pets, so they just bring calmness and some kind of love. A lot of petting. He doesn't do tricks or anything. He's a champ. He really is.
Humans, as we now exist, as we've evolved into the current human beings that we are, have actually co-evolved with dogs. Dogs are the oldest living domesticated animal, and they literally have co-evolved and been alongside humans for about as long as humans have been around. So it's really interesting when you think logically, why are we so connected? It's not just because they're cute, they're wonderful, they're lovable, they're trainable. Also, they've been around for the long haul.
Come on. No, this one. No, I want this one. Good girl. Both? Come on, do both. There you go. I have borderline personality disorder, so Sushi helps me with that. And I also have dopa responsive dystonia, which is lack of dopamine in the brain, and I'm on a Parkinson's medication to be able to walk every day. So Sushi, I got her when she was 7 weeks, and I started training her as a puppy to walk with me. If my legs are too bad, if she sees me fall, she'll go underneath my head and be like, hey. Or if I'm having my heart will race, she'll sit on my heart or on my chest to let me know, hey mom, pet me, calm down your heart. The love for Sushi is like, you can love humans, you can love your children, you can love whoever. But the love between a dog and a human, it's hard to explain. Having Sushi since she was a puppy, I can't imagine my life without her. If anything happened to her, I would not know what to do. I would be lost just as much as she would be if it was the other way around. The love she just gives me and the love that we have for each other, it's unbearable. I think that there are a lot of people who genuinely believe, and fairly so, that their dog, they feel as strongly toward their dog as people do to children. So this idea that if I die,
my dog will die because we can't live without each other, is really an intense form of attachment and obviously love that people have for their pets. We'd be pretty hard pressed to not find evidence in our pet animals that they have at least a very strong affection for us.
Well, there's a look at the Tower Camp. Finally, some sun. It might be a nice night for a walk. Well, the last few Fridays, we've been featuring a piece of artwork done by at the river. Coming up, we show you one that has just received national attention. A piece of Windsor's outdoor art has garnered some national attention. The sculpture Salutation was featured as a part of a challenge on the Amazing Race Canada this week. Salutation sits on Riverside Drive West, a giant steel human-like figure created by self-taught artist Ralph Hicks. The city's cultural development coordinator describes how its design attracted the reality show's attention.
It's not a normal smooth structure. It's not a human the way we normally see. It's a mixture of form taking on life. It is these wonderful boxes that are built into this human form, bowing and welcoming you. So this piece is boxy, it's architectural, it's very structural, but it is complex in interesting ways that surprise you. So when this piece is dissected, it actually becomes this wonderful 3D puzzle that the contestants were asked to reassemble and put together. I love this piece. I dote on this piece every week. I had trouble figuring out this puzzle. It takes a team. It takes motivation. I think it took that motivation of $250,000 to make those contestants light a fire and really put it back together. It's dissected very, very smartly by those who created the challenge in ways that are unexpected.
Well, it's nice to see the sun tonight, especially after a couple wicked storms have blown in. Riley Lachuk is here with this weekend's weather forecast and hopefully some news of calmer weather.
Well, Meg, certainly a lot calmer across southwestern Ontario. I want to quickly look back at the past couple of days here. 48-hour rainfall from Wednesday to early this morning, and the heaviest amounts falling south of the Windsor region through Amherstburg, Harrow, 214 millimeters in the past couple of days. This is really quite something. And over in the Leamington area, 154 millimeters. In comparison, Chatham-Kent getting 68 in the last couple of days. Still quite a bit of rain, but certainly not as much as the southern parts of the region got. This takes us back through the overnight hours here, and you can see that we do have, this is the system here that spawned that tornado warning through the late night last night and brought all of that rain and some of that really heavy wind to the region through the late night last night into the early morning. Over the past few hours this afternoon, though, certainly a lot calmer. You can see here just a little bit of high weather clouds still lingering through the region. So like I said, certainly a lot calmer today, albeit a little bit on the sticky side through the afternoon here. 23 this afternoon for both London and Chatham-Kent. Still having issues with that Windsor weather station, but around 22, 23 degrees through the afternoon. You don't have to go too far south, though, to see some of the hottest weather. Almost 40 degrees through the Cincinnati region over toward Dodge City, 37 degrees this afternoon. So yeah, not too far south you have to go to get to some of that 30-degree heat. So here's what your weekend looks like. As we get into Saturday, you can see we start with a mainly cloudy sky through the region. We do start to see a little bit of that starting to move out as we get into the afternoon. Slim chance, though, I think we could see some showers as we get into Sunday in the morning at least. We do have a sunny sky as we get into the afternoon, though, staying sunny as well. So it's looking like that we're going to have a much calmer weekend as we get into the next couple of days. Not a lot of rainfall to talk about either, which is probably good, seeing that we have gotten a lot of rain in the last couple of days, that's for sure. So 23 tomorrow, feeling like 30 with the humidex, low 20s starting next weekend. Meg, a chance of showers on Tuesday, and 19 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud on Wednesday.
There will be some thankful residents with that forecast. Thanks for that, Riley. Now we show you how one local organization has been rescuing food across the region. That's coming up. More than half of all food produced in Canada is lost or wasted. The amount is staggering and adds up to billions of dollars worth of food. For more than a decade, Essex County's Plentiful Harvest has been doing what it can locally to save produce. Its food rescue truck picks up all sorts of leftover produce from greenhouses in Essex County. CBC's Mike Evans joined one of their crews earlier this month to get a close-up view on how this program works and the amount of food rescued.
So today we're coming from Toronto because every Wednesday we send down a truck full of goods from our facility in Etobicoke and we swap them out for fresh vegetables here out of Leamington. Packaged goods like cereals, shelf-stable milks, lots of different items that you wouldn't have on surplus in an area like Leamington. And then we capitalize on the relationship the UHC has with vegetable growers here in Leamington.
They pick up their fresh vegetable and they provide their dry stuff that we are very lacking in Windsor and Essex County. That makes the program complete. You know, you got fresh produce, you got the dry stuff, and now you can help more people, more variety of product that's going to be on that table. We're very lucky to have that partnership as well with a lot of those local and the GTAs as well, because we have to kind of expand our resources. A lot of stuff that we don't get in Windsor, and that's available in Toronto. So that's one of the programs that we kind of invented, the swaps. We take care of our Windsor Essex Food Bank first. We take care of our Windsor Essex community, our people, before we send anything away. We're very lucky that we have a lot of surplus that's coming in, and we can help everybody.
We've been coming to the Food Hub for about the past year and a half to access the rescued food. We make up bags for our families and we send that home with them. It makes a huge difference regarding their food security and making sure they have enough healthy food each week, because we know that the fresh vegetables and fruit are the things that they're lacking in their diets. They are struggling with food. I mean, the cost of food has gone up. It's close to double, and families are suffering. I don't know how they're making ends meet. This makes a huge difference. If we can alleviate some of that by providing them with some of this fresh vegetables and fruit each week, then they can use their food dollar in other places.
Well, some brand new pictures to share of the moon's surface from India's Chandrayaan-3 lunar rover. It rolled off the spacecraft onto the surface of the moon's unexplored south pole yesterday. Chandrayaan-3 touched down on Wednesday, marking the first time a country has landed on that lunar region, and comes just days after Russia's similar failed mission. The rover will spend the next couple weeks running tests, including analysis of the mineral composition of the lunar surface. Well, that's it for CBC Windsor News. Don't forget, for news anytime, you can go to our website at cbc.ca/Windsor. You can also download the CBC News app for stories that matter most to you. Tonight on The National, the government says plastic food packaging makes up 1/3 of all plastic packaging in Canada. And it's time to change, but it's not as simple as losing the plastic wrap on cucumbers and corn. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a lovely weekend. Looking forward to seeing you back here Monday night.